What's up, guys? Got another build to show off. This is a full cerakote radioactive pilot build since the last one was taken. Man, that's on there good, isn't it? I might have to drill this out just a hair. I guess wherever you figure out where your hole is. Just a little side note, what you can do with these if you don't have a hole punch. If you go from the backside, use a drill bit, just go through and back out. Keeps that distressing that's on there, but does the hole for you. So when you use thicker leather, the issue that you encounter with it catching is this little hook right here. So whomever gets this, if you always find that you wear it on that one or that one, you take a drill bit, even if it's the same size, and just wall it out a little bit, but go from the back side. So whatever trash cans, go over there and just wall it out just a little bit. That's one way to do it. So anyway, radioactive pilot build. I had this dial, and the dial was crazy cool looking. It kind of has like a distressed gold kind of look to it. So I sent it to my cerakote guy, and he did a mix of antique brass, some shadow gray. You can kind of see some blues in it. It's kind of tough to see, but on some of the edges you'll catch some of the blue. But did the case. The case looks more antique brass, but man, is the camera not picking this up? Oh. There you go. Now you can kind of see that in there. So did kind of a mixture to just make it go with the dial to where it looks like it was all done at the same time. And it wasn't. But black hand set in there, the custom backhand, radioactive engraved crown. Did a milled caseback and did the logo back here as well. Fully cerakoted caseback, caseback ring, crown, bezel. This is a bezel you don't see me use very often. These come on a 120 case, which has different dimensions than I like to use. I like to use 41s, 42s with 22 millimeter lugs, and it's like a 41 with a 20 millimeter lug. And they come in polished, so I have to like bead blast them or something because I'm not a big fan of the polished. A lot of times you get little hairline cracks in it, and you might not see it, but my camera always picks them up, so then I feel like I gotta buff them out, and I don't really have stuff to buff polish. And then once you're all done, you're like, oh, awesome, and then you go to take pictures, you're like, there's another one over here. So I just don't really work with it very often, but bezel you don't necessarily see too often me use. That comes from one of those cases. Did a gold tension ring on the glass, acrylic glass there. You can see in there. And then a nice, sturdy, thick strap from my buddy over at Wristbound. And then we have a matching cerakoted buckle on this. Stainless steel movement holder in there, signed a little BVW rotor. You just can't see it. So here is our fully cerakoted build. I think this thing came out pretty awesome. Bezel will go left, it'll go right. It's just held on with the tension ring. This is one of my original dials. Which one is this? I don't remember if this is Pilot 1 or Pilot 2. But on the build cards that I send out, or not build cards, the little, I'm just going to go grab one. The little business cards. Oh, it doesn't have that on there, does it? Where is it? Maybe this one. Man, I lied 2 times. So I don't remember which one it is, but I did a bunch of them a long time ago. So you don't get to see these too often. I only have a few more of these if I have any of them at all, and they're not even like this. I think they're in blue or like a pinkish hue. And then we have the Radioactive-esque version. We've got your numbers done up. There's just no planes in between it. And I had the arrow on there, so we swapped it around and did that. But on these ones, obviously, you've got your logo here at the bottom with Radioactive across on the top. So, but it is one of the original ones. What is Biohazard back there? So, but don't have too many of these like this anymore. I'll be able to make these again in brass and in stainless steel, and they'll have a different look to them. But this is acid etched in the background, so you can see these lines going up through here, and then you can kind of see like the ripples around here where the acid doesn't get in there too well because it's eating away at the dial. You can still see your marks all the way around there, but if you look real close, you can see them around the edges. So that kind of look, unless you hand draw that for the laser, you're not really going to get again. So cool detail that just gets from the acid etching not getting through around there perfectly. So it eats everything out, leaves everything else up, eats out around that, eats out around this, and it's just my understanding is the piece that you put over top of it, you put the acid on there, it eats everything around it through, and then it just leaves these sections up. So, but you get these real cool looks on there, and it's just not something I can really recreate. You just, whatever you get, you kind of get. So, but I definitely wanted to use that dial, so we're able to match out the color in the case bezel crown background. I'm sorry, case back and buckle. So if it's going to you, I hope you like it. I think it came out awesome, and I always say the camera can't capture everything in person. I think it looks, I really like the dial. I'm a fan of this dial. So kind of has a nice cool vintage look to it. This would have also looked good with everything else done in stainless steel to really make that pop, and then a leather that is more close to it, more of a tan color than a dark. It would have looked really good with that too. So, but that is the build. As I show you, bezel will go left, it'll go right. Automatic mechanical, so you can wind it, wear it, put it in a watch winder. But if it's dead or you're not going to be very active, make sure you wind it a little bit. And how you do that is you back the crown off the threads until you hear it and feel it clicking. At that point, you'll see it's off the threads. You can wind it. And a wind is a turn that way. Turning it towards you doesn't do anything, but it's a lot easier to keep your finger spacing and just go back and forth. Or you can do this if you want. I try and do this. These little crown guards kind of help, but on the other ones, I end up starting to thread it back on. So I just do the back and forth and kind of run the tip of my finger across this to keep my spacing. If you do this for 4 or 5 seconds before you put it on, even if you're not very active, you will keep time throughout the day. And if you do it closer to 15 seconds, you're going to max out that 31-hour power reserve on it. You cannot overwind it, so don't worry about that. When you're happy with your winding, you'll pull it to the one and only click, and you can now set your time. It does not have a hacking movement, so it's going to keep going. You'll also notice you've got a wobble crown. That deflects lateral pressure from going into the stem and into the movement, so when you're pushing and prying on it, you're not putting any adverse pressure through that stem. Okay, Google, what time is it? Come on. 1:24 p.m. When you're good, push it over, get it out of that time setting, and then wind it down. And that is the build. As with every build, it's going to come with matching beads. This is also going to come in a, you know what, I might, if I've got a brown one, I'll grab a brown. Well, black looks good too. I don't know. Do I have a brown one? Maybe. Oh, look. I'll see what I've got over there. It might go in a brown one. Not that there's any, that it has to be color matched, but I normally do. So we come with Watch cleaner. This is good on all glass and metal parts. Everything here in the center. Non-streaky, non-toxic, non-residue. Some leather conditioner to keep this strap perfectly soft. If you ever feel the strap is not as soft, apply it on the front and back. Let it soak in. Remove any excess. A little bit will go a long way. And then lastly, some fine scratch remover. This is Novus 2 from Amazon, just repackaged. It's like a poly watch. It's for your acrylic glass because you can scratch it. But if you do, put a tiny bit of this on it, buff against it using your included microfiber, and buff it out. It scratches up and down. Go left and right, fill in that scratch, haze it. Just keep working it through there, spinning on it, and then buff it out with a clean section of that. And if you still see it, wait a little bit, do it again. Make sure that solidifies what you have filled, and you're not pulling it back out with the next bit you add on there. But a little bit will go a long way. If you put a bunch on there, you are in trouble. You are literally in trouble. Just a tiny dab, like if you're making a little circle with, a pen, and then work that in there, and you're like, that's not enough. A little pen again. If you just put a dab on there, you're gonna be in trouble. You're gonna push it everywhere. It's only gonna fill what's in that scratch. The rest is just gonna get pushed all over the place and soak into your microfiber. So you'll see. But there's plenty enough in there for you to do it 20 times, 30 times, probably 50 times before you would ever need any more. So you don't have to actually use it like it's in there. This will last you the life of the watch. But that's it. If it's going to you, thank you so much for your support. Appreciate you. I hope you love it as much as I do. I was really excited about the build and thought it came out awesome. So if you want me to be able to do something custom and unique, reach out and I'll see what I can do. If you want to continue to see videos like this, like and subscribe as I put them up all the time. Thanks, guys.